afternoon. I am excited today. This is going to be a great luncheon today. If I could get everyone's attention. Welcome to our charter versus public versus private luncheon, private schools luncheon, sponsored by Oviedo City Church. Really excited today. This is not a battle of who's better or who's worse. This is simply about information. Just wanted to clarify that before we got into this. Now, I am Bridget Lake, President of the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce. If we could all rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today's luncheon is sponsored by Oviedo City Church. Thank you so much.
Yay!
I was waiting for that. I also want to give a shout out to Sonny's Barbecue. Thank you for providing lunch today. The Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce is here to serve as a platform for enhancing business and community interests in our region. And most importantly, we are a resource for businesses, providing education, advocacy, and connections. Now, before we start today, I would like to take a moment to thank our doctors, nurses, first responders, and healthcare professionals who are out there helping others and saving lives.
Yay!
And I would like to bring up to the stage Randy Perry with Metro Realty. He is our chair of the board of directors at the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber. Also volunteers on certain committees. So I want to thank him. He's going to be talking about ratifying our bylaws at the chamber.
Anyone leave? No, I'm speaking to my name. Yes or no?
Yes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate the opportunity to get up before you today. In 2019, Steve Fulmer, who was chair of the board at that point in time, established an ad hoc committee to review the bylaws of the Oviedo Winter Springs Chamber, to bring them up to date with our mission and value statement, and also to make it a little bit more clear on a number of issues that had to be addressed. Over the last year, a committee of 5 started out, did a fantastic job of bringing the revised bylaws to the board. On the 9th of February, the board ratified the revisions unanimously, and by the bylaws we have to bring it to the entire membership. And at this date, I would like to entertain, on the 17th of February, an email was sent to every member of the chamber, which included the bylaws, gave you an opportunity to review the bylaws that we're going to be voting on today. So at this stage, I would entertain a motion to accept, thank you, Jerry, to accept the bylaw. Yeah. Who do I have the second from? Chet Tokar. Thank you very much. At this point, if there's any further discussion, please say so now. Seeing none, I will take a vote. All in favor of accepting the bylaws as presented, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. I'll turn it back to Bridget.
So first, I would like to recognize our elected officials. We have school board member. First, we have Superintendent Dr. Walt Griffin. School board chair, Karen Almond. School board member, Christina Kraus. And school board member, Tina Calden. We also have the City of Oviedo Mayor Sladek, the Mayor of Winter Springs, Charles Lacich. And Oviedo City Councilwoman Judith Smith. Have I recognized all of our elected officials? And now I'd like to recognize our trustees. A Budgetary Service, Advent Health, Citizens Bank of Florida, City of Oviedo, City of Winter Springs, Duke Energy, Fairwinds Credit Union, Modern Plumbing, Orlando Health, Oviedo City Church, our sponsor for today, thank you, Oviedo Mall, Oviedo Medical Center, Palm Tree Tech Center, and our partners in progress, 419 Metal and Auto Recycling and Platinum Signs and Design. Our media partners, Falconics, Gizmo Productions, L Media, Look Local Magazine, Orlando Business Journal, Sokoto Films. Thank you so much for filming today. Oviedo Winter Springs Life Magazine. And we have 3 new friends of the chamber that I would like to announce. We have the Orlando Sanford International Airport, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Dennis Lima, and Seminole County Supervisor of Elections, Chris Anderson. Let us welcome our new friends of the chamber. And our friends consist of Cavallari Gourmet, the Celeste Hotel, Collins Dental, District Eat and Play, Edwards Financial Services, Fast Signs of Orlando, Friendly Confines, ITI Engineering, Gene Arthur Associates, James Evans, the Real Estate Celt, Kilgore, Perlman, Cincinnati, Dennis and Squires, PA, Legends of Winter Springs, Miller's Ale House, Oviedo, Orlando Health Physicians Associates, Orlando Sanford International Airport, Oviedo YMCA, Partika Group at NEI Real Vest, Rock and Brews Oviedo, Seacoast Bank, Seminole County Property Appraiser David Johnson, Seminole State College, Tuscarora Nursing and Rehab, University of Central Florida, and ViStar Credit Union. Let's give it a hand for all of our friends. We are excited to announce tonight, come celebrate with us at Club Pilates. They are doing their 1-year anniversary, so they'll have tours, free fitness classes, raffle prizes, and so much more. That is tonight at 5:30. Also, our Capital Connection trip is coming up. You have 1 week to secure the Capital Connection trip. Now, this is sponsored by Kilgore, Perlman, Cincinnati, Dennis and Squires, PA, and Edwards Financial Services. It's our annual visit to our state's capital to advocate for our businesses. Seats are filling up. Some of our speakers are the Secretary of State, Laurel Lee, Executive Vice President Anthony DeMarco from the Florida Bankers Association. Speakers are also Secretary John Davis with the Florida Lottery, Secretary Kevin Tebow with the Florida Department of Transportation, and we are still confirming speakers as of right now. Next, something very interesting and intriguing, our $15 minimum wage symposium on Monday, March 8th, which is this coming up Monday. It is via Zoom, so make sure that you chime into that. This is a discussion to hear from our business owners, both big and small, to see how they're handling the change, the pros and cons, and the tips that can help your business transition. This riveting discussion will bring in John Morgan with Morgan & Morgan, Daniel Cavell with the Board of National Small Business Association, Roger Lear with OrlandoJobs.com, and several of our chamber members. This is an open discussion, so if you're interested in piping in, by all means, join us this Monday at 2 p.m. Next, who is an alumni of Leadership Seminole? Woo, I was in the class that never ends. It just ended, yes. So was Tim, so was Diana, yes, absolutely. So we have our Leadership Seminole Class 29 and 30 project coming up. It is to help 15 people go through an opioid addiction program. And if you're interested in donating, we would love that. If you're interested in sponsoring, if you're interested in attending our Seminole Showdown event, but that is SeminoleShowdown.com in order to donate to that. And it's for the Advent Health, Hope, and Healing Center. And let me remind you, if you miss any of these programs, Diana's been great with Sokoto Films in order to keep them recorded, and they are on our website. Next, Taste of Oviedo. Who's excited? Sponsored Sponsored by Airflow Designs Heating and Air Conditioning. This is taking place on March 27th at Oviedo Mall. So be there. We'll have a great kids area. We'll have a STEM area. We'll have the farmers market row. We'll have businesses, arts and crafts, nonprofits, lots of entertainment. So be sure to be out there. The Lunar Rover is going to be out there. So if you want to check that out, that'll be in our STEM area. So now let us give a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Dan Lacich, Pastor Dan Lacich with Oviedo City Church.
The things we do. Is this one on? It's on? Good. All right, there we go. You already heard, I'm Dan Lacich, lead pastor at Oviedo City Church. This is Bree Katauskas, who is, all right, I get it. Fine, good. She's our missions director and our guest services coordinator. So we're just going to take 20 minutes. That'll be it. No problem.
Mini sermon.
That's not even a sermon act. Anyway, so big question we get asked a lot about our involvement with the Chamber is just simply like, why? Why is a church so involved with the Chamber of Commerce? And there's a simple answer to that. It's because we have a very similar mission, at least in part. A big part of what we are about as a church is to serve this community, to make a difference in the lives of the people that live here, to make it a better place. And that's a big part of what the Chamber does as well. And we're all about partnering together with other people to make that happen. We know we can't do it all, and neither can the Chamber or your businesses or anybody else. So that's what we're trying to do in the Oviedo community. Just to give you a little, the briefest of rundown of how some of that has happened, certainly in this last year. We've been involved with being one of the sponsors for Taste of Oviedo, for other events that the Chamber has done. But even as far as stuff that we do as a church, we've served in the community in a lot of ways. During COVID, the early days of COVID especially, we set aside more than $30,000 to help people with rents, with utilities, with all the things that many of you know people went through at that time, just to say, hey, we want to be here to help you out any way we can. We consistently have days where we go out into the community to serve. We even, once a year on the Sunday before Thanksgiving, we cancel worship services and we go out in the community and serve. And I've told our folks, look, you're going to be here anyway, so there's no excuse. It's not like you're going to be somewhere else, so let's go serve. And even with that, people said, man, how can you do that? Because the first thing people think about is, if you cancel worship services, what don't you get? Offerings. We didn't care. That's not what it's about. It's about going out in the community and serving. And, and let's be honest, as church people, we have a lot of crazy cousins, okay? Like, there's some weird Christians out there, right? Can we just agree with that? All right? So we feel like we got to do everything we can to say, hey, you know what? We're normal, we care, we love our community, we want to make a difference. And so once a year we come out of our bunker and we go, we just go serve the community. So that's why we're here, to do the best we can with that. Bree's going to talk a little bit about stuff related to especially children and students, so go ahead.
All right. We're so proud to be the sponsor today, and it's a privilege to work with the Chamber. It's neat that we're actually here, and it's about children and about students, because we actually have within our congregation all of those represented. We have charter school kids, we have the public school kids, private school kids, and teachers. And I know there are several different reasons of why it works for one or the other or whatnot. So it's neat that we get to minister to all of those students. So I want to let you know about a few things that are going on at OCC. First of all, we meet on Sunday mornings at RTS at 9 and 11. We would love... Reformed Theological Seminary is on Mitchell Hammock. So we have our flags out there on Saturday and Sundays. You guys can look for us and just Google Oviedo City Church. But some of the really neat things that we have going on for children, which actually our children's director is here, so you guys can chat with her afterwards if you'd like. Of course, we have things going on Sunday mornings, but we also have really cool things like Mom's Morning Out. We have a parents' night out. I know that it's just difficult for parents to get out, and so we love to create some opportunities where people can come and have a safe place that they can, hop out and get some of those errands run and whatnot. One of the biggest things that we do for our children's ministry is a VBS. Every summer we do it in July, and it's serving the Oviedo community, so you guys can spread the word about that. As far as our middle school programs, we do some really cool things where it's called Trending Tuesday. They meet during the week, but this summer they're actually going to be having a weekly field trip, and none of the things that we do are exclusively for people who go to Oviedo City Church. Like, we want as many people to be involved as possible, and believe me, I know so many people who either have kids or grandkids. You guys are looking for ways to get your kids off of those video games. So this is a great place to send them. We're super excited to have them. And we also obviously have high school ministry as well, so we'd love for you guys to join us in that. Lastly, this coming Saturday, no, not this coming Saturday, Saturday, April the 24th, we are having our next Serve Day, and that's not just for people who go to OCC. We would love for folks, your business, if you're looking for a place to get involved in the community and find a way to serve, we would be happy to have you guys. So you guys, like I said, can find us at ovidocity.church. You got anything else?
Yeah, and related to something like the Serve Day, if you know of somebody that needs some help, if you know an elderly person that needs yard work done, needs painting done, a single mom that needs help with something, whatever it might be, get in touch with us, because we're always looking for ways to get involved there. We usually have way more people serving than we have projects in which to serve. So just let us know, all right? And we're done.
I would like to, before we begin, we are going to be introducing, or I'm going to be introducing the speakers to the stage, but I want to start with recognizing someone who has made a huge impact on the community, and especially the students here also. He has led Seminole County Public Schools to become one of the best school districts in the state, implemented the ePathways program, and has the highest graduation rate in the district's history. He is someone that I look up to, and today we are giving him the Lifetime Achievement Award. Dr. Walt Griffin. Now I have to introduce your bio. I'm softer than I was before. Makes sense. So first we have Dr. Walt Griffin. Dr. Walt Griffin was appointed Superintendent of Seminole County Public Schools in 2012. He is a two-time Florida Department of Education turnaround principal, the 2003 Principal of the Year, and in 2014 was named a U.S. Future Ready Superintendent. Since taking over as superintendent, Seminole County is ranked #1 in the state. In advanced STEM education, career vocational education has quadrupled, and the Seminole County has maintained an A rating from the Department of Education. Walt and his wife, Lori, have been married over 30 years and reside in Oviedo. They have 2 married children and 2 granddaughters and 2 grandsons. Let us welcome to the stage Dr. Walt Griffin. Next, we have Chair of the Board in Choices in Learning Charter School, Tina Kraft. Tina has a Bachelor of Science in Sociology from the University of Central Florida and is a licensed life and health agent. She currently serves as the Chair Board of Directors for Choices in Learning Elementary Charter Schools in Winter Springs and is on the Business Advisory Board for Seminole County Public Schools and born in Orlando. Tina is married to Will since 2007 and has 2 beautiful sons. Tina shares a passion for advocacy, servant leadership, and education. Let us welcome to the stage Tina Kraft. And we have Director of advancement at the Master's Academy, Marcus Mennenga. Raised by a family of educators, Marcus has spent much of his life impacting education. Having taught internationally at public universities, Marcus now uses his experience and background in education, financial planning, and nonprofit leadership to serve families at his alma mater, the Master's Academy. Let us welcome Marcus to the stage. And now I'm going to pass it over to Pastor Dan Lacich, who is going to be our moderator today.
But because we like you, we'll do some yard work for you. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to give each of you a chance to just tell a little bit about your school, whatever you want to say. I need to say this. The charter versus public versus private, I do think it should be called the charter versus public versus private death cage match, but, that's all right. We'll figure it all out. We'll start right here with you, Dr. Griffin, just work our way down. Take a few minutes, tell us what you want us to know at this point, and then we'll get into some questions and answers.
I think first of all, you all need to know Seminole County Public Schools is the largest employer in Seminole County. We have a little over 8,000 employees. We have a total budget of just under $1 billion. We have about 66,000 students this year, down about 1,000 from last year because of COVID. We have maintained an A rating for over 20 years. We're a very, very progressive district. We received a lot of state and national recognition because of our students' performance nationally. Because of the great board I work with and the team that I'm on, we have really met a goal of quadrupling the number of career technical vocational opportunities available to students while maintaining a premier university preparatory program for advanced placement in IB and so on. So just proud to work in this great district, great community, serving all of you, and I'll turn it over to Tina.
Thank you. So Choices in Learning is a charter school, and we are a K through 5, and the sponsor is Seminole County Public Schools. So thank you, Seminole County, for your support. We love partnering with you. Choices in Learning is a charter focused on a different curriculum, and our administrator and leader, Miss Erin Mandel, is with us today. So thank you, Erin. And so with Choices in Learning, we are a public school of choice and very much a part of the excellence that Dr. Walt Griffin just introduced.
Hello, I'm Marcus Mennenga and representing the Master's Academy. And I gotta say, it's a huge privilege to be in Seminole County with all of the schooling options we have for our children, my own children included. Even my wife and I, when we got married, we lived in a different county that starts with an O. And before we had kids, we were getting ready to buy our first house, and she's doing all this research. I'm just saying what has the least amount of maintenance in the yard, this and that. And she said, honey, we gotta move to Seminole County. And we did. We moved to Winter Springs at the time, and have been here ever since because of the schools. And so I am a product. I grew up and went to the Master's Academy myself, but my wife and I put our kids at Choices in Learning when they started their adventures. So we spent 4 years there, saw the huge benefits of charter school. Can you hear me okay? And it's really cool to see how private schools, charter schools, public schools, it's all one. We have great schooling options, amazing schooling options right here in our backyard. Even the other private schools are just, I'll talk about them later, but it's a privilege to be part of the Master's Academy. The main difference in our school, we have about just over 1,000 students, K through 12, just over 700 families represented here in this community. And, for many folks, whether it's physically, socially, academically, spiritually, there's various reasons that families need to make a change in education for their children. And it may be one child, it could be all of their children. And so the Master's Academy and private schools in general are not for everyone. It's a niche, it's a fit for some, and sometimes it's only a fit for a portion of their education years and not the entire time. And so we're here to serve that niche and those people at that time in their education journey. And it's a privilege to do it and be here in the Oviedo, Winter Springs area. So thank you.
All right, let me throw out first question for all three of you to consider. You're in different kinds of settings, different size schools, different constituency. What would be some of the leadership challenges that you find unique to your individual settings in terms of schooling?
Let me go first.
Yeah, please.
All right, obviously, we're very large. We have over 60 schools with 60 different leaders with 60 different leadership styles. So as superintendent, my job is to give them the tools that they need to carry out the mission and the vision of our district. Very, very simple. I've kept the message super simple for 10 years. Focus on safety first. And of course, safety is all the gun safety, all the things that could happen on campus. But now with COVID, I can really say safety and health. Followed by relationships. Regardless of your leadership style, you have to build relationships with other individuals to make sure that you have the trust for when you need to make the changes that you make. And if that happens, the third is A, which is for achievement. And if you have safety, people feel safe at work. If they have great relationships, you're going to get the third one, you're going to get achievement.
And I'll echo what Dr. Walt Griffin said. As a charter, we follow Seminole County Public Schools extremely closely from a stewardship standpoint. So from an administrative standpoint, we are safety first as well. It's extremely important. And our administration runs separate from the district. So administration works very closely with our business manager to make all of the financial decisions for our charter. And again, our focus is always safety first, and then academics is very important for excellence as a high-performing charter school.
So we're a board-run school. The board then works with the president of the school, and then so on and so all the way down for three, both the elementary, middle, and high school. And so just navigating, you talked about the trust, building the trust between the principals, the administration, is really one of the keys. And then when there's transition, typically board members have some reason they're part of it. Not always their children go to the school, but when they transition off, every time you have transition in leadership, that's really the time we have to lock down and go, okay, how do we keep the glue holding this together? And so trust is one of the big things, and seeing the team work together. When you see something's off, you have to figure that out quickly.
Business question, what are the funding challenges that you face, and how does that work itself out?
Okay, so we're a 100% tuition model, which is similar to a lot of private schools. Some private schools start their year less than 100%. So, for instance, 90% of their budget is made up of tuition, and then they have a development team, fundraisers who go raise the rest through all kinds of things. But anyway, we do 100% tuition. Any other fundraising comes just for capital improvements or projects around campus. And but some of ours, about 10% right now of our funding, if you want to call it that, is through the various awesome programs that Florida offers, like Step Up, McKay, Gardner, scholarships. And so we have a good portion of our students that accept those. So if we run out of, we do reserves, and if we have issues, we have to go back into reserves. We don't have any federal or other pockets to get into. We just have to manage on our own.
So at Choices in Learning, our funding is separated from the district from a financial standpoint. So we do have the state and the federal dollars. We work very closely with the community on different endeavors, and grants are very important to us as well. So it is a very big aspect of our charter that our financials be secure, and that's a very big focus for Choices in Learning.
For the large public school system, funding is everything. I can tell you right now, this particular year and next year, doesn't take a rocket scientist. The state has not pulled in the number of dollars that they normally do. So we will get less funding this year and next year. I'm just assuming that is going to happen. But I can tell you, the board and I have worked for 10 years to run a very fiscally conservative school district. We are ranked number 1 or number 2 every single year on the number of dollars that go back proportionately to the classroom compared to administrative costs, which is huge. There are some districts that are of similar size to ours that have 500 to 1,000 more employees. So we run lean. Ask my poor team. They all have 2 jobs, 3 jobs. But at the end of the day, we value what happens in the classroom, keeping the class sizes right, having the most highly qualified teachers, and that's where the dollars need to go. As far as overall funding, there's a state funding formula called FEFP. I won't get into all of that, but that generates how many dollars we get. It's student and program driven, as well as federal resources that also are student and program driven.
Talk a little bit about your students in terms of the kinds of achievements you're seeing with them, the kinds of success stories you have with students, and what are some of the ways that you're getting to those success stories?
You know, so as the chair of the board, if it would be okay, I would love to defer that to Miss Erin Mandel, because she's more in the day-to-day on those students' success stories. So Erin, would you like to give some guidance on that?
Absolutely. So in terms of student success and day-to-day choices of learning, we really place a high emphasis on the achievement of our kiddos when it comes to the curriculum that's implemented. The successes that we've seen over the past 10 years of choices in learning is in direct correlation to students and teachers who work collaboratively together in the classroom, along with parents that support our kiddos as well. So we appreciate all of the community support. The student achievement is paramount, but of course the relationships, as Dr. Griffin had mentioned, is critical, to the success of choices in learning. This year with COVID, it's been more challenging than ever to keep the connections together. I'm sure we all can agree with that, but we've done an amazing job achieving that.
Thank you.
Similar to what you're sharing, Erin, the parents, the teachers working together with students, we have a lot of students that have individual needs. And so being a smaller school, which is again why some families choose it, you're able to walk closely with each family based on what those needs are. And then you get to celebrate their successes at the same time. And so we see that a lot. And then we have a pretty strong program for folks with learning differences. And so we see a lot of families that maybe master's or private school is a good fit because 1 or 2 of their children are just not having any difficulties as they study, and then they may have 1 or 2 that just need more time in the classroom, more time to get through the material. And so that's been a strong success for us in just raising that program up to see how families can benefit and have their kids in one school and get both services there.
Well, you're all very lucky. I didn't bring my 20 slides to answer this question. But I'll start off by telling you that we have students at every Ivy League, every military academy, every prestigious school. I can say in the country, but also around the world, we have many international students. Our SAT scores are always above the state and national average. Our test scores are always way above the state average. But more important than the individual students who are soaring, students who traditionally did not do as well. Sometimes people don't talk about those kids, and that has been really our focus to make sure Seminole County offers something for every student. And by bringing career, vocational, technical education to our school, when we graduated 94.5% of our students, and when we're at the stadium and in a few weeks handing out diplomas, each student has been given the opportunity for a pathway that will lead to something that is meaningful for them. And I think all of you that are parents and grandparents, at the end of the day, you want your kids to find work that they're passionate about, things that they like, because we all have to work for a long time. Here I am, 40 years. And I think the board has done a phenomenal job making sure that there is an opportunity for every student, from special needs students to our most gifted students. And our metrics are something to be very, very proud of. But sometimes metrics are misleading as we talk about all students. We talk about our bottom quartile. And that's what really singles out our district, is that we have success from students of all backgrounds and all levels, and our board puts the money where their mouth is, and we put money into areas that need the most amount of help. So I'm very, very proud of the achievement in Seminole County Schools.
Great. Going beyond academics, what other kinds of activities for students have you found to be really helpful and meaningful, with your students and families?
Let me start. Let me start with, again, I have 10 slides on this. 6 years ago, the board supported our direction to begin coding in kindergarten because we were told by the business community that they want analytical, critical thinkers. Not that everybody has to be a computer scientist, but it was something that that was an opportunity for all students to learn how to think and motivate them. Very, very unique structure. I don't know of anybody else that has that. We've been told the importance of STEM education. We just rolled out our second physics bus, the third one to come. We start physics in kindergarten and first grade, and we learn that from our international students. Now, you don't have to wait to high school to bring those concepts to fruition. That kids can get motivated at a very early age. As far as programs, so we have, I'm a former high school principal, and I can remember speaking. We had 75 clubs and sports when I was principal at Seminole High School. But we have a huge variety in the performing and visual arts. Again, the board understands the importance of the arts. The arts really, really help our innovation and creative activities. It helps students who want to go into programming and the technical part. When students apply for a job at EA Sports, yes, they need the technical knowledge, but they also need the opportunity to express their creativity. And ups and downs with the budget, the board has never even spoken about removing the arts program. So the arts are huge at every single Seminole County school. In addition to arts, we also have a massive athletic program. State champions in every sport you can imagine, but what I'm most proud of, we have more athletic academic scholars than ever. We have students who understand, yes, it's great to be that star baseball player, but I also need a 4.0 to go to UF and pursue my career because not everyone's going to make it professionally. So there's just a large amount of choices and opportunities for all of our students.
So speaking from the lens of an elementary school, we watch very closely and work very closely with Seminole County Public Schools, board to board, administration to administration, to learn to see the statistics and the amazing results that are happening in Seminole County Public Schools. And because we are focused on the elementary, our clubs and different social opportunities are more geared for age appropriate. So we do yoga, and we have fencing, and we have the mathnasium and all of those fun clubs, and we are looking under our new administration to roll out some more STEM programs. So coding is amazing, 3D printers, and Ms. Mandel has very big goals to hopefully start a STEM lab. So we are always watching and learning from our Seminole County Public School sponsor.
We have some similarities to both what you've shared already, but arts, fine arts is a huge program in private schools in general, but especially at the Master's Academy, and all of the arts, from theater and music and drama and just so many different arts programs, dance, and then athletically, that's a huge part of the school's focus is getting as many kids involved in extracurricular period. But athletics, a lot of folks like a small school because their kid has a higher chance of making the team, right? Just statistically, there's 350 kids in the high school. You need however many on a football team. If he's a boy and has a pulse, he might make the team. And then the STEM and lots of programs in the classroom. One of the things that we get to do a little differently is kind of a bottom-up approach. We let the teachers go to administration and say, based on what I'm teaching, my age level, whatever, this is kind of the needs I see, both curriculum-wise at times and even in the setup of the classroom. So whether it's variable seating, just not traditional desks. Obviously, COVID has altered that a bit, but typically at tables and in groups. And so those are great ways to see differences.
Yeah, you mentioned COVID. Obviously, that's kind of thrown everything just crazy for you. And it's going to be a while before we, I think, understand what the impact of all this is on kids educationally. What's your kind of gut feel at this point, what the impact of all this has been, and how do you overcome some of that moving into the future in terms of the impact on students?
definitely is going to be an impact. We have some students who are soaring online, and we have others that are struggling online. I think most of you know we're one of the first districts in the country to reopen our schools. We opened on August 17th, one of the first in Florida. Florida was one of the first states. We have families still moving in up until yesterday from up north because their schools still aren't open. The longer schools are closed and the less access that students have, the greater the gaps are going to be. This could be an entire generation that is a little bit behind in their schooling. So the board and I were adamant that we had to get schools open, but we knew we had to offer choices because it really wasn't our business to say what a family needed. So we offered right out the gate face-to-face, and I think we started out about 45% came face-to-face. We offered our Seminole Connect, which is our basically the online version of what we do during the day, and we also offered Seminole County Virtual School or a hybrid model, and some families went for that. We are now up to almost 70% of our students back face-to-face, and we are knocking on the doors of students who are struggling online. We have the data that they're taking similar assessments, but there will be long-term impacts. I was just talking to Mrs. Beeman on the way in, and she has phenomenal ideas for this summer on how to close that achievement gap, because we're going to have to do things very, very different for this group of learners. But I think what gets lost in this whole discussion, the academics are great. I am worried about our students' mental health. We've had more serious things happen this year than in my entire career, things that we were able to intervene. But at the end of the day, when you see somebody face-to-face every day, it's easier to detect if something isn't right. And I'll just leave it like that. It's real difficult on web. So yes, I'm worried about the academics. We can make up for a lot of that, but as a community, keep an eye on the children's, but also the adults' mental health during this pandemic. We have more isolation, we have more anxiety, and we have more depression than I have ever seen among students and employees in my entire career. So I am very, very worried about mental health.
And as the chair of the board, Ms. Mandel handles the day-to-day on these topics, but as a parent and the lens, I too am watching this closely. Thank goodness for our sponsor, Seminole County Public Schools, because our administration works very closely with SCPS on the different guidelines and on the wraparound services needed to support our children and our families. We too have a blend of face-to-face, virtual. Administration is working extremely hard to support all of the children because everybody does learn differently. And you recently rolled out a letter to encourage some of the children to come back to make sure that communication is the key right now. So we are all working together to make sure that our children have what they need.
Yeah, and similar sentiments with you guys. It's we've had a hybrid model, so everyone obviously in lockdown was online, and then as we came back this year, we had a high percent, just over 80% in person, but have offered the blended option all year long. Some students have not come back yet. Some have gone, and based on exposure or whatnot, some families have had to keep kids home for a month at a time or a couple weeks at a time and gone back and forth. But we still have a chunk of students and families that just wish to retain learning at home. But we're still seeing the effects of that, especially on our teachers. The teachers, pray for them. Doing both is really double duty. Trying to manage online students and manage the classroom is double duty. And so I think we're seeing the biggest toll on teachers, and then again on just the mental health, which means, Pastor Dan, you guys have your work on cut out for you. I mean,
I got job security. It's no problem.
Yeah, lots of job security.
Yeah. Speaking about teachers, there's always questions and issues in terms of number of teachers needed, quality of teachers, compensation for teachers, support, all that kind of thing. Talk a little bit about where you are with teachers, with development of teachers, recruiting, pay, anything related to that side of things.
We have about 4,500 teachers. Each year we have to hire about 300 to 400 teachers, depending on retirements and resignations and that type of thing. Our pay structure, our starting salary is a little under $47,000 now. But I will tell you, I think one of the greatest, and heading into retirement, June 30th, I retire, and I really never paid all that much attention to what the state provides. But as a public school employee for many years, I have a nice pension waiting for me at retirement. And we need to sell this to our young teachers, because if you stay the course, you really are taking care of the rest of your life. So in addition to the pension and the tax shelter annuities, our board offers about a $10,000 health insurance and benefit package. Teaching is a very desirable position. And I'll tell you, of all the jobs I've held in the district, I think my days as teaching are right up there on top with feeling that daily impact, not dealing with other people's problems, but just taking care of your kids. I can't imagine a greater job than teaching. And the last thing I'll say about it, I think as a community and as a society, we have to do all we can do to elevate the status of teachers. I know when I speak to students, we have a teach-in, they think teaching is a low-end job. Yet they're with teachers, they think teachers make a minimum wage. They don't understand the importance of the role that they play and so on. So I think we need to elevate teaching as a profession. But although the salary is not that great, our board, 9 consecutive years, we've given teachers a raise. We've looked under every rock, and some rocks that were hardly there, but we managed to find dollars to provide our teachers, keep the insurance at a flat rate, and provide a massive benefits package for them. But those that stay the long haul, there's a pot of gold at the end.
Excellent. And as a charter school, as the public school of choice, we follow very similar guidelines on the compensation structure for our teachers. I think the biggest difference is that we have a bonus program that is available for our teachers that they can have access to 3 different times throughout the year. As a benefits consultant, I have to say the benefits package is beautiful. Pays 100% for the employee, which is just amazing, and the plan design is excellent. So, in looking at the teachers, they are our #1 asset. They are the relationship with our children, with our parents. They make such an impact on our students. So we do, as a board, support administration and look at our financials very seriously when we're looking at the compensation package for our teachers.
And I really agree that we've got to elevate our teachers and keep them. They are front line every day in the trenches. More difficult than parenting oftentimes, right? We only have to see them a few hours at night, and if they're driving us crazy, we'll put them in bed early, change the clock forward. That doesn't work anymore. It worked when they were little. But yeah, just elevating the teacher, and really it's how you and I speak about them, and that can make a big difference even with our own children. So that's a big deal. Our school, I don't think they get a pot of gold at the end because we don't have that type of pension and stuff, but we do have great health benefits. It's 100% for the employees and the teachers, and they don't make as much money typically in private school as they can offer them in public schools. I know at Masters it's less than they would make teaching the same thing with the same amount of degrees or whatever in public school. So therefore you say, why would someone do that? And right? I mean, I used to ask that, why would they come and teach here? And for some, they just feel called to it. Some, it's for religious reasons. They want to be able to have free speech about things and talk about Jesus in the classroom, whatever it is. There are reasons that people say, this is where I fit, and I enjoy this. And they may or may not fit in another type of school. And so that's a big thing. And then I ask that question a lot of our own school, and what I've found is many of them at Masters Academy, we offer free tuition for all of your children if you're a teacher. And so I think we've got a high percentage of teachers who have children in the school. We don't cap it. If you believe you should have 10 children, that's part of the deal, right? You need prayers in other ways, but no. So that's a kind of a fringe benefit that is intangible, but it really helps the bottom line for those families.
All right, let's open up for some questions. Here we go. Hand up, Melissa. Go ahead. Nice and loud.
Hi, I found out yesterday that my daughter will be entering Seminole County Public Schools. I was so excited that she got entered in the BPK lottery.
Awesome.
But I'm also a little nervous with how crazy the world is right now. The mental health you guys were talking about. What advice do you have for kids that are entering the school system now? And there's so many changes and rules and everything going on.
Yeah. Great question, and I think all new parents to our school system think about these things. First and foremost, is it a girl? Get her used to wearing a mask. Because amazingly, we are not having mask issues with students, but there was a little bit of adjustment beginning of this year for the smallest children, just to get used to it. And I think really the most important thing is every opportunity you have to interact with the new teacher, even if it's via WebEx, get your daughter to know who she's going to be with. When you can have the opportunity, visit the campus, visit the classroom, and be involved as much as you can as a parent. And I'd be saying that to you if you had a student entering 8th grade. Don't stop. Stay involved with the school, get to know the adults who are going to be caring for your child, because everybody worries about their children. And the better relationship you have with the school, with the teachers, the principal, the better you'll feel. Or when you do have something you're concerned about, you'll feel free to discuss it and feel trusted. So just get real involved.
Other
And
questions?
I would say as a parent, what Dr. Griffin just said is spot on. And anytime I have a question, I may actually call him for guidance. And
She calls me.
I do. So Miss Bowman, but the relationship with the teacher and the administration is key.
All right. Randy?
There's legislation up in Tallahassee right now that is suggesting that we should reduce Bright Futures scholarships based on student taking AP courses in high school. I'd kind of like your opinion on that, all of you.
I can take a stab at it. First of all, every year I think there's 1,000 bills filed, and only a certain amount, more than 1,000, only a certain amount make it through. So you hear a lot of noise and what if and what if. At the end of the day, I think what legislation like this is trying to say, students who take advanced placement courses, okay, they are receiving college credit for those courses if they pass the test. So let's not have them double dip. If they're entering University of Florida as a junior, let's bright future them for 2 years, because what is happening, some kids still go the 4-year route on bright futures even though they had enough credits to that. And each year, I don't want to make up numbers, but a couple of years I actually put together a check, millions of dollars in tuition saved to families because of advanced placement. So I think it's probably just talk, because really what they would want is, and what a lot of our students do, they actually roll the bright futures into the into the master's programs. And so, but I think let's be careful not to double dip. Our students are benefiting from massive advanced placement and dual enrollment programs, because they all necessarily need a 4-year tuition package, when maybe that money could be used a better way. My opinion.
It's not my area of expertise, so I'm going to defer to Dr. Walt Griffin on that area.
Yeah, likewise, and it's so well said. I mean, I would have said it the same exact way.
Other questions? Yep.
Hi, I just purchased a franchise here, Tutor Doctor, which is a learning center in Oviedo. It's the first time that we're here in the area. And I'd love to know, how can Tutor Doctor help the schools during this time, especially with the learning gap during COVID?
We would love to have your information. We offer tutoring. We have free tutoring for most subjects, several days a week for students at all different levels. Yep. But that's via students in the Honor Society and avenues like that. And then we have a list of resources for parents who need tutoring beyond that, and there's never enough. So,
perfect.
Yeah.
I'll give you my card.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At Choices in Learning, we actually create into our financial plan the tutoring internally, so that we are a collaborative learning environment, so that our children are being tutored in the same environment by the teachers specific to the curriculum. But I will also defer to Miss Erin Mandel for outside support on how they would like tutoring. But administration works very closely with the families on how they would like each child tutored.
We would love to be a business partner.
Jean, you got a question?
Yeah. Thank you so much. So I think probably like a lot of other people this spring I gained a new appreciation for teachers and daycare workers. What's something nice that you'd recommend for us that have kids in school to do for our teachers at the end of the school year?
At Choices in Learning, our PTO is extremely active, and I can tell you that they have been sending food trucks in for our teachers, and it's been a lot of fun. So it can be socially distanced, but everybody loves good food truck venues.
I would say error on the side of generosity. Seriously, if normally, you give them the little ceramic apple with a $5 Starbucks card, give them $50 or do something extravagant where you can, at least, and encourage everyone around you who has children to do the same for their teachers. I think this is a year they need that boost. And really words of affirmation will go a long way too. But a little gift card with those words of affirmation is usually nice.
Completely agree. Any way that you can thank them. A lot of teachers have been mistreated during this period also.
Yeah.
So I think anything that you can do to thank them, and certainly any gifts that can be given, would be appreciated.
I'm not so familiar with the Seminole County School. Ours grew up in Polk County, but I also taught school. When I retired, what I gave back was days of substitution. I don't know if they have, or you have things or people that can just come in and they give their time to substitute for those teachers is what I always did, and they really, really seem to appreciate that. I didn't know.
You're over to answer that. we all need substitutes. Connect with Gene Van Smith right over there, and you can start tomorrow.
All right, let's give a real round of applause for our panel.
Stage area, but we really appreciate all of our speakers today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Richard. Can I have 2 seconds?
Yes.
First of all, Tim Cook is in the audience, and I want all of you to know that Tim and Advent Health, as well as Orlando Health, as well as Nemours, as well as Central Florida Regional, have done a phenomenal job guiding me with the medical and scientific knowledge that I need to get us through this. This is not me making, my doctorate's not in medicine, so I count on them. And secondly, Sarita Beeman is in the house. Sarita, stand up. Sarita, take my place.
Thank you so much.